The dark moors of Innistrad hold many disturbing creatures. The nights here illuminated by the red eyes of half-sunken monsters reflecting the light of the plane's moon. None can say for certain what foul beings lie just under its surface, but in secrets and fears, there are always those looking for belief. And often, that belief spawns something truly terrifying. Greetings everyone and welcome back to the Aether Hub. I'm Simon, bringing you more Magic the Gathering lore. In this video, we're continuing our journey through the macabre and dark places of MTG's story. This is 13 Nights of Magic. On this spooky evening, we have yet another terrifying tale coming from the haunted plane of Innistrad. Here, on one of the spookiest places of the multiverse, you can find all manner of disgusting and creepy critters. Some tainted by black magic, others twisted into Eldrazi horrors. But that's not to say Innistrad isn't home to natural monsters as well. Before the rise of Avacyn or Emrakul, other more primal gods demanded devotion from the lost souls here. This is the story of two rival deities, and the sadistic cults who followed them. Innistrad is by and large the spookiest plane in the Magic the Gathering multiverse. From menacing werewolves to ghastly ghouls, there isn't a terrifying trope you cannot find on Innistrad. This, of course, extends to players who have a fear of insects. You can find all manner of crawling things to trigger someone with entomophobia, or the fear of insects. That's easy. But did you know that Innistrad is also the perfect place to scare people suffering from ranidophobia? The irrational fear of frogs. It may be less known, but it's just as real. And both would be horrified by today's video, for we're discussing the disturbing tale of rival cults who worshipped gods of the apex of these phobias. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, at least if you're entomophobic or ranidophobic. Our story takes us to the Nephalia region of Innistrad, a coastal province defined by its port towns, towering rocky cliffsides, and dreary weather. In this land cloaked by sea mists and low-hanging clouds, people and monsters come here to conduct business that they'd rather others not observe. Nephalia is home to seedy business practices, scrupulous crimes, and dark, twisted experiments. Many of Innistrad's most renowned alchemists, researchers, and necromancers set up laboratories here, knowing no true authorities will come knocking. It makes Nephalia the perfect place for cults to lay down roots and spread their poisonous words of worship throughout the populace, such as the progenitor of the Stromkirk vampires, Runo Stromkirk, who founded and leads a cult dedicated to ancient gods of the sea and storms, a kraken known as Krothus, Lord of the Deep. In such a place did two rival cults have their dark beginnings. Near the southern marshlands of Nephalia, you'll find two haunting ruins half sunk in the mire, not but a short distance apart. In ancient times, groups of humans gathered here for worship to Innistrad's angels, that is until the sea claimed back some of these lands, leaving them as swamps tainted by the dark magic of the plane itself. As the evil crept in, it laid the foundation of two deities, folktales of gigantic, destructive beings that ruled these lands years past, but who are prophesized to return. The basis of any great monster-worshipping cult. One was a slug, the other a frog. Common enough creatures found in this moist region, but what these cults followed were truly monstrous versions. Though these groups formed around just the ideas of these gods, and of course the folktales they left behind, a bitter rivalry grew, as each priest and prophet exclaimed their god to be the superior and true ruler of these swamps, going so far as to denounce the others as heretics. This was the ancient dispute between the temple of Toxrill and the spawn of Grolnok, the god of slugs and frogs respectively. While there was always animosity between these cults, it wasn't until the fall of Avacyn and the rise of Emrakul that their darker prophecies started to occur. Their horrific gods were being summoned to Innistrad once more. It started with the cult of Grolnok, who refer to themselves as Spawn of Grolnok, believing that all are birthed from the all-consuming belly of this frog god. The basis of this religion seems to be on the very real monster known simply as the Gitrog monster, who terrorizes the plane by gobbling up human sacrifices. Surely, this would mean that frogs are divine, and that which spawned Gitrog would be something truly worthy of worship. Grolnok's priests were getting a little tired of waiting for their avatar to show up on its own, so they started to put matters in their own hands, practicing dark rituals to bring about the coming of their god and really to gloat and shove it in the face of those dumb slug worshippers next door. Their deliverance came not through prayer, but a merchant who came bearing what he claimed to be an egg of the Gitrog monster. They took the egg as a relic and poured their devotion over it, passing it down through the generations of cult members, until finally, inquisitive followers found the right combinations of arcane spells and incantations that hatched this eternally gelatinous frog. What emerged was their beliefs given form, a gigantic oozing frog who consumed everything around it, including some unlucky followers. The Spawn of Grolnok praised this as the one true Grolnok, and spent the rest of their lives dedicated to their god, looking to now beseech its blessing and have Grolnok destroy the Temple of Toxrill, defeating their long-hated rivals. The cult of slugs, however, would not be ended so easily. Upon hearing of their neighbor's successful summoning of a frog avatar, the priests of Toxrill started in earnest to bring about their own god. While they had no eggs of Toxrill, they did dabble in ritualistic magics and possessed a number of slugs who were less than discerning about the type of blood they fed upon. One small slug had just recently gorged itself upon demon blood, ripening it with dark energy which the cultists exploited. With ancient words and spells, the cultists poured their belief over this tiny creature, and, just for good measure, they also cast a spell of enlargement on it. The result was a demonic, gigantic slug who continued to grow and multiply as it consumed and eroded everything unlucky enough to be caught in its disgusting trail. Though this clearly wasn't the one true Toxrill, the cultists were fervent enough to claim their summoning a success, despite their shortcuts. The horrific Toxrill destroyed half of its own temple when it emerged, showing just how much this god cared about its devoted followers. While war has not yet begun between the cults of Toxrill and Grolnok, it's just a matter of time before these gods of Innistrad do battle and one emerges as the ultimate ruler of the swamps. Will it be frog or slug? Hopping or slithering? Consuming or eroding? All we know is when the fighting begins, there will be carnage on a scale not seen since the travails. Who do you think will prevail? And there you go, my little panicking planeswalkers, another night of spooky stories as we go through the 13 Nights of Magic. Please let me know how you're enjoying the frightening content in the comment section below. And please go ahead and support our haunting work by leaving this video a like, sharing it with friends, and becoming a subscriber. It's the very best way to help us spread more grief across the multiverse. And as always, until the next foreboding evening, see ya!